right, I want to welcome to the show the beautiful Breanna Morello, of course, host of the Breanna Morello Show, along with Logan Hall, our Blaze Media digital strategist.
Not beautiful?
The beautiful.
Thank you.
The feminine. Logan Hall, everyone. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you out. That was rude of me. So I was, we've been going through this Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I'm so sick to death of talking about it. Every day they give us more of a reason to just be like, you guys are retarded if you think that this is going to be a winning strategy. And yet they continue. What was it that they said a couple years ago? Nevertheless, she persisted. And they have been persisting in all the wrong ways. And so then today I saw California was set to release an illegal immigrant named Oscar Eduardo Ortega Angiano. I don't know why they have to have so many names all the time. Who killed
them?
Yeah, no, this is 5 names and they're all correct. They all match, so we know it's you. So he killed 2 American teenagers in a drunk driving crash. And despite a 10-year sentence and ICE detainer, California was literally about to release this man early before Border Czar Tom Homan and the DOJ stepped in earlier today. So I want to play Tom Homan announcing that they would be stepping in to stop this from happening. Watch.
Everybody asks why I get so emotional on network TV, why I get emotional when I testify, because I've met hundreds of angel moms and dads and hear every story. I'll never forget any of those stories. It's just a tragedy. But I'll make this commitment right now. I'll work with Secretary Newsom on this case, and I guarantee you, if they don't honor a detainer, we have ICE agents outside that facility to take custody of this individual and deport him. He's been deported several times, which means he's a felon. Re-entry the country at the form of deportation is a felony. We will prosecute him and we will deport him. I'll make that commitment. I'll work with Secretary Newsom to make sure that happens.
I'm sorry, but I feel like when you're at the White House, you probably could just tell the lawn crew, can you guys knock it off? I'm in the middle
Tom
of
Homan out here.
Fox News hit. Can you guys just wait a second? So they had the DOJ who also announced that they would be pursuing federal charges. Here's some of that.
Well, first of all, listening to the heartache from those 2 parents is truly heartbreaking, and our hearts are with them. And not only are we praying for them, but this administration is taking action. The Department of Homeland Security and ICE have already said that a detainer has been put on this individual if he is to be released, and he will immediately be transferred into ICE custody, we hope, if the state of California complies. And if not, the Department of Justice will be seeking a conviction against this man where he will spend time in federal prison for taking the lives of those 2 young Americans. So these results speak for themselves. President Trump is not going to tolerate illegal immigrant crime. And this individual case represents everything that is wrong with our immigration system. This individual was twice deported, but was allowed back into our country by the previous administration, took the lives of 2 young Americans, and is now barely facing any consequences. We will not tolerate it. We will not stand for that, and we will continue to enforce our nation's immigration laws and ensure that illegal immigrants who not only break our nation's immigration laws, but then further commit heinous acts of violence against law-abiding American citizens in our country are held to the fullest extent of the law.
She is so pretty and so good at this. I just watch her and I'm like, oh my gosh, does it make it different that it's a female? I don't know. I guess there have been a lot of females. That's what the difference is that we've just watched the stark contrast between poor man's Peppermint Patty, Jen Psaki, and then KJP just being just so terrible. And then you finally have this powerhouse woman that comes out and she's beautiful and she's well-spoken. And it's like, finally, I don't have to be embarrassed of my gender.
We're putting the blondes back in charge.
We're putting the...
That's how you save America, baby.
Yeah, it's okay to be a beautiful, brilliant blonde again. So Breanna, but before we came out here, Breanna tipped me off to Governor Gavin Newsom, who is now trying to flip it and be like, what are you talking about? We're gonna turn this guy right over. We are gonna cooperate with ICE and with DOJ, as we always so often do, right? Throw that up there. He said, after being deported in 2013, this individual unlawfully re-entered the U.S. and committed heinous crimes. A GOP DA then gave him a plea deal instead of pursuing second-degree murder. CDCR, California Corrections, will again coordinate with ICE as they have with 10,000 plus inmates to transfer him before release. So it's not the fact that the state is soft on crime. It's not the fact that they have literally sanctuary cities across the state. It's not the fact that you have, Governor Newsom, who turned San Quentin Prison into a rehab center. The fact that he worked with the state Democrats to scrap an anti-crime bill at the last minute. It's not the fact that he has facilitated this sanctuary state, basically. It's the GOP DA that's the problem here when you're looking at this illegal who was set to be released early.
Isn't that crazy, Sarah? I think, too, when we're talking about who's really at fault here, possibly the parole board. And if I probably looked into all of this, I probably could tell you that the governor is the one who appoints the parole board.
Yep.
So, but Gavin Newsom won't acknowledge that. But we're talking about deportations. And for some reason, they think that just by putting this guy back in ICE custody, that he's going to just disappear and go back to his country and never return. Well, we've done that so far twice prior, and he comes back into our country. So at this point, I don't even care if ICE picks him back up. Let's prosecute him on a federal level. Let's throw him in prison for the rest of his life and hope he dies in prison, because the reality of it is if we send him back to his country, he's just going to come right back in, and we're going to have this issue yet again.
Now, I will say, at least we do have some enforcement on the border now. He certainly, it sounds like he'll try, but it turns out that when you try to just enforce the laws that are already on the books, you have things like President Trump was saying last week, 99.1 to be exact, the percent that border crossings are down.
Yeah, that was a great point that Breanna just made.
Yeah.
We hope that for the next, forever, that we have as strong of border security that we have as we do now. But the next time a Democrat gets in office, they are going to open that border again. Yep. So historically, if this person comes into your country illegally twice, commits terrible crimes beyond just being here illegally, commits terrible crimes, and then kills two of your citizens, life in prison is a lenient punishment. In the good old days, you would have just taken this guy back out to the shed and gotten rid of him. The amount of abuses that the American people have taken because of illegal immigration is insurmountable. These people either have to, it's important to understand, life in prison is the lenient punishment for these types, okay? And I appreciate everything the administration is doing, but this, the framing of illegal immigrant crime, it's like these are all... They're all criminals. They're all illegals, okay?
If they're here illegally, they're a criminal,
they're
period.
all criminals.
Yeah.
And, I understand, Gavin Newsom is just, trying to shift the blame to anyone but himself.
A GOP DA.
It is important to remember.
I've heard that before.
It is important to remember that California is a one-party state now because of a GOP president who gave California amnesty for all the illegal immigrants. That California was a reliably red state up until Reagan's amnesty. That is what they are trying to do now. That's what the Democrats are hoping for now, that they can turn America into a one-party state, a blanket amnesty for however many 50 million illegals that are here, and turn America into a permanent one-party state. That is the goal. That is why all these judges are fighting to keep all these illegals here. They want America to be blue forever, and for us to never be able to deport these people who broke our laws and invaded our sovereignty.
And yet, you've got these teenagers, both 19. You've got, it's not like they're the only ones, right? You've got the Laken Rileys, you've got the Rachel Morans, you've got all of these American citizens who I would say were denied due process. That's what the Democrats' latest buzzword is, due process. They were denied due process whenever they were killed, brutally murdered for no reason. And yet you have the Democrats' talking point of, but what about due process? And it's like, you don't get due process if you enter our country illegally.
You are due to be processed by ICE and deported the hell out of here.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? They know what the term due process means all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
When you were a J6er and you were just having a jaywalk around the Capitol, you were thrown in prison, your home was raided by the feds.
You couldn't talk to your attorneys. You
couldn't get any of your documents, the surveillance footage. No. You couldn't do that. But they get due process. What a privilege it is to be an illegal alien in this country.
Yes.
Seriously, though, I mean, we had gotten to the point where they were getting more benefits than the American citizen. They were getting more due process. They were getting, even just this guy. He was sentenced to 10 years, but the California Department of Corrections said he was going to be released more than 6 years early.
What a luxury.
Those are killing two. Like, think about who was you've been on the J6, all the J6 stuff. What was it? Enrique Tarrio that was sentenced to 18 years in prison?
22, actually.
22 years.
Yeah. And he wasn't there.
Wasn't even there. You have an illegal immigrant who kills 2 Americans. You get 10 years, except you don't because you're released 6 years early. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.